I will implement strong ideological screening of all immigrants. If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't, if you sympathize with jihadists, then we don't want you in our country and you are not getting in.
The only person who hates America is Donald Trump. The only reason he wants to run again is to try and pardon himself so he won't be prosecuted for his multiple crimes, including overturning an election, stealing classified documents, amongst 90-odd other charges. And let's be absolutely clear about what he's saying in this short clip, that when he gets back into the presidency, so he claims, he will bring about strong ideological screening at the border. Now, just think about that for a second. Firstly, that is a fascist notion. That is the language of an authoritarian, somebody that doesn't allow you to practice your faith, your religion. Never mind whether or not you have a criminal record or not. He basically doesn't want you in the country if you do not match his specific requirements, and clearly that is somebody who is white, Aryan, and Christian, and someone who supports Donald Trump. So that screening that he's talking about will go way beyond a criminal record, as is currently the case. He, as you know, wants to bring back the Muslim ban, something he brought about in the first week of his presidency last time, something that in my view should have been the thing that he was impeached over. And unfortunately, that was just allowed to pass. And any law-abiding Muslim, most Muslims coming into the US were either turned away or if they were from very specific countries, they were sent back. This is something that was nothing to do with the COVID, nothing to do with the pandemic. This was a political and ideological decision that was made because he is a xenophobe. He is a racist, and he thought that by blaming Muslims for what, 9/11? I don't know. But doing this in this way, thought that he would garner support from his base. And so he seeks to do it again, with no rhyme nor reason. Not that he had reason in the first place.
If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't, if you sympathize with jihadists.
And then he goes on to say that if you hate America or if you want to abolish Israel, nobody is calling for the abolition of Israel. And the whole point here is that the Constitution requires people to be able to have their own views, to have their First Amendment rights, but also to practice whichever faith that they like. Just not to push it on others, which is exactly what Donald Trump is doing, because he's about to talk about the fact that if you don't like our religion, then you are not welcome. So what is the religion of the United States? Because as far as I'm aware, Donald Trump himself does not practice a religion, does not believe in God, is not someone who's ever gone to church, is not a person who can even quote a verse from the Bible. So the hypocrisy here is absolutely clear.
If you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't.
And he says if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't. Well, here he's trying to talk about immigrants. Now, anybody who has had any connection or association or friendship or romance or relationship with an immigrant will know that immigrants come to the US to seek a better life, to contribute to the United States economy, and in the main to assimilate to the American way. They cannot wait to do that. And what he's saying here is so false. It paints immigrants as people who are looking to steal, or as he's described before with Mexicans, referring to them as criminals or as rapists or as drug dealers. Nothing could be further from the truth. And yet this is the rhetoric that Donald Trump, again, marinating in xenophobia, is presenting to try and turn Americans against migrants.
If you sympathize with jihadists.
And nobody sympathizes with jihadists. Let's be clear, the only people that sympathize with jihadists are jihadists, and jihadists are already prevented from entering the country by nature of the very hefty screening that goes on at every border checkpoint. So it makes no sense. None of this makes any sense. It's as if Donald Trump has never traveled in the same way that most people have through an airport. Oh, hang on a second, of course, he hasn't. He flies private. And isn't this the point? That to have somebody who is so detached from reality, so detached from the real world, is the last person that you want representing real people in the White House. Literally no concept of reality, of integration, of the way that humans interact and operate, and even the way that Border Patrol works. It's just embarrassing. So next time you hear Donald Trump or another candidate claim that they're going to implement some strong ideological screening of all immigrants, just remember that, this goes beyond taking a look at your social media. And I speak as an immigrant. To get a visa, to be able to come and live and bring my family and settle in the United States because I wanted to contribute. I wanted to be part of this society. I too wanted to assimilate, leaving a very civilized country and nation, because I wanted more for my family, and I chose the United States to do that. And to listen to the rhetoric of Donald Trump, who speaks in a way ignoring every immigrant that has ever made a difference to American life and society, is so offensive. Because America was built by immigrants and by slaves. Donald Trump didn't build America. He is just enjoying the fruits of the labor of the people that did, who were underpaid, who were exploited, and in some cases who were bought and sold by wealthy, white, rich men, just like him. So Donald Trump is the last person that should be ever lecturing anybody on immigration. I mean, his plan when he was in office was to shoot immigrants at the border in the legs. That was a genuine plan that was floated that he thought that he could get away with, but he was held back by people who knew better. Well, next time, if Donald Trump was to win the election in November 2024, all of the policies, all of the insanity, all of the obscene language and abusive language that he uses towards people of color, towards immigrants, towards people who are just trying to make a better life for themselves in the US, that will just increase. The heat will be turned up, and he will ramp up the fascist rhetoric that unfortunately we are now so used to. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5-Minute News podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.